Welcome everyone to this Venus Alchemy Gemini Morning Star Voice of the Goddess Throat Chakra, releasing the distortions around communication and our creative expression. I'm Kaylin Castell and with Tammy Brunk, and Tammy is going to do our opening. So Tammy, take it away.
All right, thank you. Everyone, welcome to this throat chakra activation. We are excited to be together again. And of course, the throat chakra is such a vital part of our journey, and at Gemini especially. So why don't we just take a moment to ground and center? There's been so much that's happening in the larger field, so let's take a moment. So let's just start by just taking a couple of deep breaths and dropping down fully into our bodies. Taking a moment to feel the sensation of gravity as a blessing, allowing ourselves to feel that kind of pull downwards to the earth as a blessing. Connecting now to Mother Earth, perhaps through the sensation of our feet on the floor, the soles of our feet in contact with her, maybe through the sensation of our sit bones and our chairs and the support that she offers there. Connecting to Mother Earth, connecting specifically to that aspect of her that is healthy, whole, healed, radiant, well. Knowing that this aspect of the feminine, of the earth, is always and ever present. And as we align ourselves, attune ourselves to that reality, we also align ourselves with that reality that lives within each one of us. As an extension, though we are limitless and timeless spirits, we also are an extension of that earth body. And we just give such gratitude for the privilege, for the honor of being all together today. And just taking a moment to maybe even put our hands on our throat chakras and just maybe closing one hand on our throat chakra, one hand on our heart. And just for a moment, feeling that sensation, just very lightly, our hand on our throat chakra, just feeling that sensation of warmth, feeling that sensation of opening. And for a moment, also seeing each of us in a circle. All of these Venus Alchemy, beautiful men, women, everyone in the circle of every gender. Seeing each of us in a circle as if we are holding hands, as if we are each holding space together. Also, maybe between all of us and in the center of this circle, we might even see our beautiful Earth, Gaia, planet Earth floating in space, this gorgeous gem. When we see this gorgeous gem of the earth between us, we might now take our hands and we might see that our hands are filled with light, with healing light. We can see each of us now, all of us who are present and those who listen later, extending this light of healing. We may see that light as rain. We may see that light as a blue and calming light. We might also just see the heavens pour down rain onto those areas of the earth where there is so much fire now. We see, feel, and know that our presence in this moment in our heart center, our presence in our moments in this moment in our bodies, and this awakening and activation of our throats, finding our voices, finding our full presence so we show up with the gifts and the skills and the capacities that we have come with at this time. As we stand now around this gorgeous earth and we bring the light of who we are down to the earth, we just see those lights just infusing our planet with so much love, with so much healing, with so much radiance. And again, seeing each one of us with our throats just opening with that gorgeous blue light, seeing the ways that as we come together now, we just open to receive what is true, we open to offer what is ours to offer into this field. And opening and beginning now, we honor each other and we open the circle now for this offering.
Beautiful. And we'll also just invoke the Rainbow Goddess, helping us to release any divine feminine voice distortions. So if you want to say this with me out loud because you're all muted, you can do that. Or if you just want to listen, that's also perfect, whatever you do. Beloved, wondrous, magical rainbow goddess, committed to restoring our co-creation with magic and mystery. You who inspire creative insights through the power of your voice. Guide me to release all the ways I'm critical of myself and others, releasing all rigid thoughts and beliefs that hold me back from speaking into what is true for me, including speaking in ways that promote more authentic connection. Help me release all blocks around knowing when to talk and when to actively and deeply listen. Help me release any fear of offending and being abandoned. Guide me to release any blame and shame, preventing me from courageously taking responsibility for all that I say and do. O mighty goddess of playful fun, freely expressing your true self, thank you for guiding me to release all the ways I act and speak out of fear. Help me to have the courage to listen and to act upon what I know is true for me, to be more discerning and forthright. Help me to trust myself in making inspired and decisive decisions, and help me release any blocks preventing me from skillfully using my words to invoke and activate what is mine to do and say for the benefit of all life everywhere. It is done, it is so, and so it is. Blessed be.
Today we are going to once again begin with a breakout group, and we are also then going to just be speaking into this Gemini rainbow goddess at this throat chakra gate and speaking into the incredible sky magic this month. There is so much happening, as we already feel. Speaking to Leo and Virgo at this gate, and we're going to speak into the power of music and singing, laughter as medicine, speak into home play, and then we're going to have Claudette lead us through some toning exercises, which we're really excited about. And we are going to be bringing a little bit of Sekhmet into this this timing, because with this much Aries medicine and with Venus and Leo this month, we just felt like it was time to kind of invite her to the party.
Yeah, so Tammy, do you want to put people into breakout groups and I'll just share the
Sure, yes. So first, I just want to say that in these breakout groups, and Kaylin's going to go over the guidelines, but that we're going to take 10 minutes. And so I'm going to try to do a little bit of a better job this time of sending out a little note that says when to switch. You might be in a group of 2, you might be in a group of 3, so just take that into account, but we want to make sure everybody has time to share. Okay, Kaylin.
Okay, so first of all, just the very first thing to know, because I know some people don't feel comfortable in a breakout group, joining is optional. So when you see the little sign, you can, I think it says you can join the group and you can just ignore it and it just keeps you where you are. So in the main room. So whatever feels comfortable for you. But I will say that I also feel that when you have an opportunity to talk to people, you get to know some people a little more closely in the group. And this is also designed to foster more community and mutual support. So that's what we're hoping that we're doing here. Plus, we are here to listen and be heard. So we're asking that people don't cross-talk or interrupt, but just listen. You don't need to offer advice. You don't need to fix or judge. You just listen and be present to what people are sharing, and be mindful of the time. So we don't want, some people won't share as much, so there might be more time at the end for people to come back and share if they didn't feel like they got to share everything they wanted to. But then, we want to make sure everybody gets a chance that's in the group. And then also, if you feel like you started a great conversation and you would like to continue that, after the group, you can, maybe make an agreement to get each other's emails and see about continuing your conversation later by mutual agreement. So everybody needs to be in agreement about that. So the thing that we want you to do is to share your name, where you're from, what the greatest gifts and highlights from your Venus journey have been in this past month. These are just suggestions. You can share whatever you want, but this helps to guide the process. And what's maybe been the biggest challenge in the last month, and or some ideas about what you've cleared, released, transformed in the area of the third eye. perception, because yes, we're moving into the throat chakra, but we still have a couple more days of the third eye chakra. So I have my join breakout room. So I think that's everything, unless you want to say something more, Tammy.
I think that's it. I just realized I really shouldn't have done that yet. So hopefully there's a few people who are in the rooms. Those who listen can give you the good feedback. And yeah, so I'm going to unmute everyone now.
Awesome. All right, so I love what you just said, that you are glad you came on.
Yeah.
And that, you know what, this month has been crazy. So that if you haven't done everything or feel like you really are up on that, it's totally understandable. So what do you feel is the most important thing that you want to share?
Well, it's just been a challenge. My challenge has been just processing the grief. You know, initially I thought I was okay, and then I just had a few moments in time where I said, you know what, I gotta stop and take care of me. I'm trying to be here for everybody else, but I just finally said I need to reach out for help. So I was just so thankful for our group and just a few other individuals that I could say, they, you know, when people keep saying, hi, how are you? Are you okay? So now I say, no, I'm not okay. I know what I say. I say, I look good, but I'm not okay.
And what is okay anyway, right? So it's like, maybe okay, yes, because I am in this process, but maybe not okay according to your definition.
Exactly. And just, you know, letting people know that, you know, we're not, I just keep saying it's still a pandemic. You know, the pandemic hasn't gone away. You know, mask up, social distance. So that's kind of challenging too. I just see everybody getting so comfortable, and I don't know, because they haven't maybe had a personal loss, and I just kind of lost it a few times to say, but I have so many friends and family, and the loss hasn't just picked the point of stopping. You know, I'm fearful that it is still continuing. So when I see people don't want to wear masks and, you know, just not taking this serious, it's just heartbreaking for me.
Yeah, I think you're right that when people haven't had the personal experience, it's probably not as good for them. Yeah.
But what about you in terms? I mean, I do enjoy going out seeing the sky. That's nice. That's my little joy in the evening, to kind of follow where Venus is and what's going on, and just to get out there and be under that light. I found that real empowering, though.
Oh, that's so good. I'm so glad to hear that. I think it'd be great to hear from Kim, because you're new to the group, right, Kim?
I am new. Yeah.
So you maybe you don't even know how to do this or what this is all about, but is there anything you want to share with us about what's going on for you so far?
I am new and kind of new to the whole Venus journey, so I'm excited about it. But yeah, nothing too big is going on here, so
where
kind of going with the flow.
Where are you?
I'm in Alabama.
Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
On my mother's side, all my family are from Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh,
so they might
okay.
to Detroit.
We're in part of Mobile.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we just moved down here about a year ago. 2
Nice.
years for me, 1 year for me. So yeah, I'm from Iowa, so it was a big move, big change.
Oh, where in Iowa?
Davenport, like the Quad City area.
Yeah.
I spent 3 years in Iowa. My first husband was from Iowa, so.
Oh, where at in Iowa?
Well, I was in Fairfield, Iowa, at the Transcendental Meditation College called Maharishi International University for 3 years. Yeah, and my mom was there too for a while, and you know, it was like right as it was getting started in the mid '70s.
Wow.
So I think there's been a lot of changes there since I was there last, but it was a long time ago. But I remember the first winter I was there, it was the mildest winter they'd had in 100 years. And the next 2 winters were the worst they'd had in 100 years. I was like, get me out of here. So I moved to Arizona.
There you go.
Yeah. Right. So I would imagine Alabama winters are probably better than Iowa winters. Just
Oh yeah. So much different. So nice. Yeah. It's a nice change. And actually summer wise, it's not much different. I think it's actually been warmer there than it has been down here. So it's been kind of interesting.
yeah. Wow.
So yeah, good change. Good changes.
I'm excited about this chakra gate because this is my you know, when we did that breakout before, Kaylin, the throat chakra. You know, I'm a Gemini goddess in the throat chakra, so I'm really excited about this gate.
That's awesome, Sarieko. So glad to know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm a throat chakra evening star, not this cycle, but the cycle before. So I love the throat chakra too.
Yeah. And I'm not exactly certain when I was speaking once with Tammy, I think that this may be one of my, I'm 62, so I didn't think this was my Venus return. But when I looked at the chart, it seems like it's not based on just the multiple of 8, that this actually may be my return and I just didn't realize it.
So when will you turn 64?
October of 21.
2021?
Yes.
Yeah, so you are in your Venus return because this lasts until January of 2022. And
Wow.
it's a 19-month cycle. So you're like me in that you start your Venus return at the end of the or the, you know, it's like when you are turning 64, you're kind of in the middle of the cycle. I'm always kind of towards the end of it at the throat chakra. So must be an evening star throat chakra also.
Yes,
So,
I
yeah.
am.
So we will start our Venus return sooner than some people who are morning star. Right.
So the
Yeah.
star starts before the morning star because we are going under first.
Right. Well, so Venus is morning star, and then she begins her descent, and she's still morning star as she's descending into the underworld. So that's where we are now. So you can see Venus in the morning sky, and you'll see Venus in the moon at the throat chakra in a couple of days, right? And it's like the 13th, 12th, 13th, and 14th, I think, or something like that. That you should be able to see the moon starting to come down towards Venus.
Wow.
Yeah. And yeah, so go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that's very exciting. I was going to ask the other young lady, was this her Venus return also?
Oh, Kim, is this your Venus return?
I don't think so. I know I looked my stuff up, but I don't think so. I'm 43, so I'm March 4th, 1977.
Your birthday's March 4th? So is
Yeah.
mine. But I was
Is it really?
I was born 3, 4, 5, 6 in 1956. So, March 4th, 1977.
77.
Okay, I'm gonna look you up.
That's so fascinating.
Yeah, I love it. You know, March 4th is the only date that gives a command. March 4th. Not back, not sideways, but 4th. 4th. March 4th. Anyway, so yeah, it looks like you're in the Leo cycle. And March 4th, you were at the last gate, the 8th gate of ascension when you were born.
Wow.
In the Leo cycle. So that's pretty cool. Oh my gosh, I love that you're born March 4th.
Ooh.
That is so cool. So it looks like we have like 50 seconds left if anybody has anything they want to say before we go back. It's been delightful to connect with you both.
Thank you.
Me too.
And so if you want, you can go ahead and return back to the main session.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Nice.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Yeah, just to know what's in the energy field and try to create to try to soften it as much as you can. That's good. Okay, well, everybody's coming back now. Thank you, Mindy. Thank you, Lily. That was wonderful. And I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone. So here we go. Sarieko. Yay.
Oh, we had so much fun.
What are the chances you and Kaylin had a, I mean, come on, I didn't make that happen.
It was awesome. Yeah. So cool. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. And then I think we're going to talk a little bit about the Rainbow Goddess before we jump into the Sky Mysteries. So you want to talk about that, Tammy?
Sure, yeah. So just really tuning in, and I'm just going to invite each of you to even maybe close your eyes, put your hand on your heart when I say these things, and just ask this question internally. So are you feeling the support of the circle and the playful Gemini, Rainbow Gemini Goddess? How is that for you? Are you feeling that support? And if you haven't been, just take a moment to just allow yourself to be in this field of mutual support, because surely it is there. Let it just kind of fill your heart. And if this is really showing up for you, how is this showing up for you? Just kind of see, feel, sense, know, consider over the course of the last month, how have you been feeling the support of this circle? And if you hadn't been aware of it, let yourself become aware of it now. Looking backwards, how is it that this circle, the support of this beautiful circle of beings, has been supporting you over the last month? Just take note of it. Anchor that awareness in your mind, in your heart, and your body. Okay, and so now moving to another question. And really considering this, again, we're fully anchored in our bodies now. Any tendrils of awareness that are out of the body, we're just bringing them back down and in. We're fully anchored, our souls, our spirit, fully anchored in our bodies. Asking the question, what would it take to let go of any feelings or habits of serious responsibility that are holding you back from having more creative fun and play? Understanding it is every human's birthright, no matter what age or time we live in, to have creative fun and play. This is medicine that comes with being a whole human being. So naturally, if you've been feeling all this weight of the world, if that's been holding you back, what would it take for you to claim your right to feel joy, humor, creative fun, and play? Just let yourself feel it in the body. Let yourself, if there are words, if there's an image, if there's a message that comes through for you around that, what would it take? How might it look for you to let go of that? What needs to drop? How does it feel to let that play, creative fun and play, emerge? And if you feel blocked around it still, if any other feelings arise in you around that very idea, just let yourself be with whatever comes up. Just breathe into it and let it be. So now, just knowing that the Gemini Goddess, this medicine, this energy that lives in all of us, this archetypal energy that belongs to all human beings, she reminds us she is not here to follow the old rules that limit her freedom of creative expression, especially as they relate to creating a fun and fulfilling new Earth story for us all. She doesn't play by the old rules. So if these old rules are living inside of you and crowding out any capacity to experience fun and play, and when I say that, I don't mean that there's no challenge. I mean, maybe there's just a slight vibration, even in some of your more difficult moments, of something that feels a little bit like play. And that play might even be your creative response to something that was unexpected. It doesn't mean that there isn't space and room for all the other feelings, because all the other feelings are part of that. But in that rainbow experience of emotion and feeling, to allow that there might be just even these little bright glimpses of play or fun that emerge, allow that to be part of it too. So yeah, that feels essential.
Yes, and Tammy, you're going to find this fun, because today I literally got an email from somebody who's promoting a program about the power of the group, and was saying something like, do you know that geese can fly 70% further because when they fly in the formation, and it helps them all to be able to fly further? And did you know that when they've done studies with people who do group intentions, that the power of those intentions are increased exponentially? So I just want to re-say that again, and we've shared about the goose story in the past, and we may share about it again in the future, but that is part of the opportunity we have here with everybody, because we have this shared intention, and we also have our personal intentions, but all of that gets magnified by being in the power of the group. And we have a good sized group, so yeah. All right, so we're gonna just look at some of this has already happened. We're seeing the sky map of when the moon was catching up to Mars, when it was occulting Mars and went past Mars this past weekend. And it will be, interestingly, 2035 before Mars is as bright as it is now again. And this is gonna last well into October, so we're gonna see this very bright Mars as we get closer to the well, Mars stationed retrograde yesterday, and it's going to make its closest approach to the Earth on October 6th, and then it's going to oppose the Sun, meaning that Mars will rise as the Sun sets, and Mars will set as the Sun rises on October 13th, and that'll be the beginning of a new Mars cycle in Aries that will last for 24 to 26 months. And so we're going to have the ideally the warrior for, we could say, justice for the earth and for all the people that live on it. Right? That Mars will stand for that cause, ideally. Of course, we'll see all the shadow that comes up around that, and we have been seeing that. But anyway, and then on November 13th, Mars is going to station direct. So we have Mars in Aries this whole entire gate. And we had, and it started out with this occultation that happened on September 5th. And even though that energy has passed and Mars went retrograde, it's in the standstill. It's like in the same part of the sky it was at the time of the occultation because of the retrograde. So it's just sitting right there. So we are still getting the energy of that occultation beaming towards us, at least for another week. And so we thought that it might be really fun to look at this a little more deeply. Tammy?
Yeah, just to honor, really to honor that in this Venus cycle we're working through, we're honoring the sacred feminine, but of course it is always absolutely essential to honor the masculine energies as well, especially now because you cannot deny the power and the strength of this Mars in Aries energy. It is, again, not by gender, we're not talking about gender, but it's this fiery, fierce, masculine energy. And, considering that this is also at play during the threshold between the third eye and the throat chakra, we might also add that questioning around how is it that when we tune into the healthy, whole, healed Aries masculine energy within each of us and in the world around us, because that is a part of the equation where we align ourselves with that. How is that warrior masculine energy supporting us in having true perception from the sacred masculine heart? How is it helping us to claim our voices, the voice of the feminine? How is it guarding and protecting us so that we can access what is true, what is in service to the whole? And the questions too are, how is the awakened masculine warrior in service and guardianship of the magical feminine, the Gemini feminine? And she and her expressing her voice and really showing up in the world. How do we call him forth from the highest quality frequency within ourselves and in the world around us? How do we do that? And I will just say too, I forgot I was going to do this, Kaylin, but I updated my altar. I'm just going to show you really quick. I updated my altar so that it would integrate the masculine. You can see masculine on one side with Cernunnos, the stag, the deer, my little nephew, my dad, my brother who passed, other things like that. And then the feminine on this side, I have mother bear, mother elephant. I have myrrh on this side, frankincense on this side. And then I've got the sacred marriage with nut and geb and other factors in the center. So that's just one way. If you want to honor the masculine as well as the feminine, this month you might integrate the masculine into your altar because he's really alive and we need his support as well in this journey. You want to add anything, Kaylin?
Well, just as somebody asked what's an occultation, and I'm glad they did that because, it's easy to assume that people know what it means. So one of the things we can say about it's like an eclipse, and most everybody knows what eclipse is, but it's when the moon literally passes in front of a star or a planet, and that star or planet disappears from our view. So it's being occulted and then reappears sometime later, depending on, and not everybody would be able to see this. Most people probably saw Venus and Mars really close, super close together. But it's like an amplification and an acceleration of the energy. And it is not that often that we have an occultation of the planet as it's starting a new synodic cycle, or ending one and starting one, because we're kind of in the between right now. So I just wanted to add that.
So as we all know already, thank you, Kaylin. That's important to remember that. And really, for those of us who saw it, it was beautiful. Oh my gosh, that occultation was amazing. So with this strong volatile Mars Aries retrograde square Saturn energy activated this month, because of course it's very close to a square with Saturn, as Saturn is preparing to station as well, direct. We invoke the medicine of the Gemini goddess to divert aggression, tension, or anger through play, mischief, and comedic expression, transmuting it into beauty, laughter, and healing. So, you know, and it may be that that's really idealistic to imagine that it's always going to be transmuted in that way, but it is appropriate to divert and to sometimes, like you're working with a little kid, like a 2-year-old who's really worked up and really fiery. One of the best ways to work with a child like that is to really focus their energy on something different, help them create something, help them feel useful. So it's kind of like our inner 2-year-old is really activated right now. And so we need to approach that part of ourselves and even that part in other people with that kind of playfulness sometimes.
Exactly. And just another piece to say is that when Mars is going into a new cycle, it stays in the sign often for several months. Usually it's in a sign for about 2 months. In this case, I think Mars went into Aries in August, or July or August. I can't remember the exact date, but it will be there until early next year. So we have several months of Mars in Aries due to the retrograde, really emphasizing and spotlighting this energy of the masculine that has been that warrior energy, and the shadow side of that has been that more conquering, competitive, you know, let me take what I can and, you know, to hell with everybody else. But that isn't the essence. It's really about having a noble cause, mission, and purpose, and about protecting the cosmic order or restoring the cosmic order when it's out of balance. So this is very significant and important, that we are aware that this energy is happening, and that how do Mars and Gemini work together, right? The Gemini cycle and the Aries cycle, how do they work together? So this is beautiful. Thank you for that.
I love that, Kaylin. Thank you for saying that, because I think it's so important what you're saying, because yes, we can use Gemini to divert the more aggressive or toxic energies of that, but also equally it is that this is a constructive energy we can work with to really engage that masculine, focusing on our noble cause and purpose, focusing on telling the world story we want to tell, which includes restoring justice, restoring peace, and restoring true equality, those kinds of things in our world, bringing our world into balance. So this is a very real energy we can also engage with playfulness, yes, but it's very potent and powerful, and we can make magic happen.
Yes, that's what we're all about with Gemini anyway, making the magic happen.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So
just because it's easy and fun doesn't mean it isn't real.
Right. And you know, I think part of the New World story is how to make it more easy and fun. And Aries loves to have fun just as much as Gemini.
Yeah, it's true.
It can be a little more on the serious side, but
yep.
Whatever. Anyway, so this is just over the next, you know, we're here just a few days before we're going to actually get into the next Venus moon gate. And literally late on the 13th in some time zones, the Venus moon conjunction will be exact. And early on the 14th, like right after midnight, and different times in different places in the world, will be the Venus moon conjunction exact on the 14th. And then you'll see the moon way beyond Venus on the 15th. And so these are just a couple of different sky maps. I found it interesting that Earth Sky put this a little closer to on the 14th in the morning than the Sky and Telescope version of it. But just this is just because if you're not up early enough to see the stars behind it, then this is what you'll see in that early morning sky. However, if you're up early enough to see the stars, you'll be able to see Venus in this constellation of the Crab, having finally moved out of the sacred hoop this last month and started moving, you know, through this constellation. The moon will have just moved out of the sacred hoop as well on the 13th. And so, and you know, in the early morning, 5:30 in the morning, the moon will be at about 28 Cancer, and Venus will be at about 7 or 8 Leo. And this is going to become important to know that number in a minute. So on the 14th, Venus is now at 9 Leo, and the moon is at 12 Leo in the morning. So they're actually closest on the morning of the 14th. So something to be aware of. And what's happening is that this is taking place in a part of the sky. This is where Venus is with what's called the beehive cluster, also sometimes called Persephone. And also it's Mysore 44, M44. It's a, I suddenly just lost, it's a cluster, it's a, like a galaxy cluster of stars here. And so it's about 600 light years from the Earth, and there's, you know, over 1,000 stars. 50 of them are pretty bright. So we can actually see it with the naked eye, but it looks more like a smudge in the sky rather than, and there are 9 distant galaxies that are located in this cluster. And that's why it's referred to as the beehive, because it looks like a little hive of bees. And in China, I thought this was interesting that they looked at this as a place of the sky where spirits or demons were captured, and they called it Yubui. And I hope I said that right. If somebody can correct me if I didn't. Anyway, so this is a part of the sky that I have tuned into a lot. I think you have too, Tammy, that because this is, we could say light codes coming from this part of the sky. It's really, if we think about bee medicine, I think about being, like how are we being? How do we be in the moment? How do we be present to what's happening? How are we being willing to embrace what we're experiencing right now? And sometimes I'm more willing than others. Because the world is kind of crazy at this time. But anyway, and because bees work in community and they remind us that it's through cooperation. And if we look at the old story, one of the stories that we're wanting to retell that has informed our reality is survival of the fittest, which basically is really cultivating competition. And there's only so much, and we have to, you know, we have to get what we can, and too bad for everybody else kind of thing. And so this is that reminder that we're really here to cooperate. And when we do that, we're far more successful, far more abundant, far more thriving than when we're in that place of competition. So plus the, you know, bees make honey, and that's the sweetness of life, and they seemingly can do the impossible. So, you know, there's some who would say that the way that bees are constructed aerodynamically, they shouldn't be able to fly. Some maybe don't think that, I don't know, but they can definitely accomplish things that we might not find possible, or we might have thought were impossible. And so they're really teaching us to work in cooperation, and that's really, this is about creating the golden age of peace and plenty for everyone. Yay. So we've got Venus at the throat chakra. How do we tell that story? How at throat chakra in this part of the sky, helping us to tell a new story around how we work in cooperation with nature, with each other, that sort of thing. So.
Yeah, I want to also add, just because, you know, there's something that others have brought up too with this Venus cycle and Venus and Gemini, is that it is about playfulness and creativity and all these things. And that's essential. And also Gemini is about polarity and duality and learning to really navigate the full range. And so just to speak into this one, beehive cluster does have the dark and the light aspect, just like everything else. But one of the things that I've found through working with it a lot with clients and seeing it show up in a lot of clients' charts is that a person who works with the beehive cluster masterfully, they know how to hold energetic boundaries in an almost effortless way. And there's something about trusting that we are safe, we are protected, we are held, we are living in a cooperative universe that helps us activate and bring alive that kind of protective field around us. And one of the meditations I'll do with this sometimes is to actually see that, like, I'm the queen bee, right? And I have all my bees around me that protect me from whatever doesn't serve, but they also bring me the honey. So that's a meditation you can do with this. But also to say that You know, it's the lower kind of frequency of it. You know, beehive cluster is prominent in the US chart. It was prominent in Hitler's chart. It does show up in a certain dynamic, but at the lower frequency or the less evolved frequency has to do with a lot of fearfulness and just being so boundaried that we're trying to protect ourselves in a more of an aggressive way. So just be aware that some people might be carrying that energy. It's not that it's their fault, bad, good, whatever, but just be aware that might be around you and know that we can step into a different kind of boundary that comes from a deeper trust in the cooperative nature of the universe and our ability to co-create with that.
Beautiful. Yeah, bees will sting you if they feel threatened.
Yeah.
The dark side of that.
They will.
Right?
Right. And they'll be protective, which is also not all bad. You know,
No.
I mean, and
Yeah.
sometimes we need that too.
Right. Well, it depends on I guess, the intent behind it. But
Yeah.
So again, here we have, well, Venus entered Leo on September 6th. So that was just a few days ago. And then September 13th and 14th, Venus is going to be at the throat chakra gate. And so it's exact at 11:30 p.m. Pacific time on the 13th. So that's my time zone. And it's exact at 2:30 a.m. Eastern time on September 14th. And so that means, you know, 1:30 Central, 12:30 Mountain time. You know, so more of the time zones are going to experience it in on the 14th. But you know, if you're in Hawaii, it's definitely going to be on the 13th. So this is one of those where there's a crossover time. So just adjust for your time zone. And then on the 15th, so still in the window of this gate, like the last day of this gate, Venus is going to square Uranus, bringing in some unexpected energies that we may not have thought of or planned for or just known were going to show up. It's kind of an interesting time, but it's designed to expand our sense of possibilities ultimately. And where it gets challenging is when we're really stuck in, and you know, if we need a major wake-up call, then that could happen. I've seen that happen sometimes with people in Uranus cycles. And so, you know, something happens that kind of comes along and shifts their perspective or their assemblage point, so that then they can see something more expansive as a result. And that's really the intent. So being open to things that maybe we haven't thought of before is a good thing. And then we'll have the Virgo new moon on September 17th. And what's really interesting about this is it is with a star called the Nebula, the tail of the lion. And it also happens to be the 233rd year of the signing of the Constitution of the US. And there's an amazing intention statement at the beginning of the Constitution that has never been honored and fully lived in our world. So we might want to, at that new moon, look at that. And I'll maybe what I can do is post that preamble to the Constitution on the class page if people want to look at that and just maybe put some good energy into it, because it's needed now more than ever. Yeah. And then on the 29th, Venus is going to trine Mars. And so, you know, that helps to also connect us into the whole Mars thing that we just shared with you about. And then we'll have the Aries full moon on October 1st. It'll be with Chiron. So again, more opportunities to heal the warrior energy that has been so distorted in our culture for such a long time. And on October 2nd, Venus is going to enter Virgo and at the throat chakra gate. And Tammy's going to share a little bit more about that with us in a moment. And then we're going to have Venus trine Uranus on October 10th. And Mars is going to be on October 13th near Eris opposite the sun. And on October 13th, we'll have the next Venus moon gate. So we'll probably be talking about that Mars Eris opposite the sun and how it's also squaring the triple alignment and maybe intensifying, because when we had this back in March, Mars was in Capricorn with the triple alignment of Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter. That was right as the lockdown was happening and so on. And this is a very rare alignment that is happening and is disrupting our world so that we can create something new, hopefully. Anyway, we'll talk more about that as we get there, but just so you know that that's part of the deal that's coming. So anything you want to add to that, Tammy?
I think you got it. That's awesome. So, and just with all those activations being really big, the larger energy is that the Gemini Venus is moving through Leo and Virgo this month. And so at the throat chakra gate. So we can imagine that at this throat chakra gate in the sign of Leo, she's letting go with a hearty roar, any and all chains, constrictions, limitations on her voice, her creative expression, her brilliance, her shine. So it adds even more of this real expressive energy. And she's ready to let go, to lay down all that is standing in the way from her fully embodying and using her divine voice. So when I say she, I mean we. This is what is waking up in all of us. This is what we have access to. She's full of fire. We are full of fire. We are free. We are creating a new world story with every color in the rainbow, every crayon in the box, leaping and dancing and singing and painting, visioning and bringing into full color, clarity, and joyful intensity the new song, new story, new vision for the people and for the earth. And this is what's possible for us now. You know, for many of us, when we get bogged down with what's happening in the world around us, what helps us to create something. And creating something is another way of the outer expression of the throat chakra. So Leo helps us with that.
Yay.
And so also she's in Virgo. She enters October 2nd. So most of the time, or well, I guess it's kind of half and half, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, I think it's a little more in Leo than
Yeah, a little more.
A little bit more.
So she's this sovereignty, the theme of sovereignty is something that comes up through both of those signs. So she's surrendering all her attachments to outer authority while reclaiming the sovereignty of her voice. She's having long forgotten who she is. She is beginning to remember. No longer will she hide in the shadows behind the scenes. She is claiming her voice, though it may be shaking. She is speaking for the feminine, for the earth, for Gaia. She is finding her songs. She is making her prayers. She is creating her ceremonies of praise for the sacred pattern of creation and each sacred being's place within it. So we can also bring that forward in each of us in the coming month.
Yay, right. And since, of course, we're at the throat chakra, and it is Gemini, who is often the troubadour minstrel or the singer, songwriter, you know, whatever, communicating through music and songs. And what's interesting is that also in some ancient cultures, they saw the poets and poems as the original magical formula. So we're looking at the magic of how we create magic through music and speaking and singing and whatever it is that we're sharing. And so the Latin word for poem comes from poeta, and again meant magical formula. And the word for sing was cantre, meaning to work magic and to produce by magic. So singing our intentions, singing our songs, singing, you know, in ways that feel fun for us, finding songs that we like. And on the class page, there is the song by Olivia Newton-John about magic. So I would sing to that song, and the words are there too, right? So we can create our magic by singing that song or finding our own song, or maybe it'll inspire a song for you to come through with. So, and I love this quote from Joachim Ernest Berendt from 1991. He says, "The knower of the mystery of sound knows the mystery of the whole universe." And so if we're remembering magic in magical ways, then we're doing that through stories and myth and songs, and that helps us to remember our own soul and come home to the truth and inspiration of who we really are. So this is just to remind everybody about the magic of singing, the magic of listening to music, and of creating intention. I know I like to create little chants and things, and I know you do too, Tammy, to, you know, that, and it's amazing how magical that can be. Okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing I got really inspired about, and interestingly, last month was the 22-year anniversary of my mother's passing, and I'm now the same age she was when she died. So her presence was really coming up strongly for me, and suddenly this she loved this book and this movie, Anatomy of an Illness by Norman Cousins. So I feel like she sent this to me. So I just want to honor her for that. And her 87th birthday would have been September 6th. So anyway, this is about how Norman Cousins cured himself of a debilitating disease. The movie is posted on the class page. I highly recommend you watch it. It was done in 1984, and I think it was a TV movie. So it's not like the best movie ever, but Ed Asner does play Norman Cousins, and it is inspiring. So if you don't want to take the time to read the book, yeah, watch the movie. And so he literally couldn't get out of bed, and he cured himself with laughter and with high doses of vitamin C. So he said that 10 minutes of genuine belly laughter had the aesthetic effect that would give him the ability to sleep for 2 hours pain-free. And literally, he was in a lot of pain when this all first started. So that's just something that I hope everybody will take advantage of. Doing something fun and entertaining, hearing the story, and being inspired by that. We also have the medicine of humor activating the throat chakra, because of course when you're laughing, not only are you activating your belly, but you're also activating your throat. And they've done a lot of studies now on this, and I'm not going to read all of these to you. You can go back and look at the PDF, but it is so good for your health to laugh, and to laugh genuinely deeply, and find ways to do that, because it increases our feel-good hormones, and it's healing. So I love Calvin and Hobbes here having a good belly laugh. So you might ask yourself these questions. Are you finding ways to lighten up? Do you see humor even in challenging situations? And if you don't, can you start to practice that? Are you willing to laugh at yourself? And how can you take whatever is happening in your life and turn it into a funny story? I have a daughter who's really good at that. So, yeah. So laughing is really something, and I just got to see my grandbaby, and he was smiling and laughing. He's 5 months old. And so, it's like, this is natural for us. It's something that is a part of who we are from a very young age. And he said what was significant about laughter was not just the fact that it provided internal exercise for a person. It's a form of jogging for the innards, but that it creates a mood in which the other positive emotions can be put to work too. So smiling, it's contagious. Laughing when you can, finding things that are funny, to look at funny memes. I love to do that. Read funny stories, listen to a comedian, just do those kinds of things to help cultivate laughter, so that that's something we can do to help activate our throat chakra. So, and it helps you to be more spontaneous, let go of defensiveness, release inhibitions, express your true feelings. It can help resolve disagreements and manage conflict with others. Mm-hmm. So I love this quote. It said, I don't know who it came from, but it just said, always find a reason to laugh. It may not add years to your life, but it will surely add life to your years.
That's awesome. I love so much when Kaylin and I were talking about all of this and she brought it forward. It was so fun. Just even talking about it made me laugh, made me feel better. I love the Norman Cousins story. That's so powerful. He said 2 hours of laughter.
Wait. 10 minutes of laughter gave him 2 hours of sleep without pain.
Right. That's awesome.
He watched old Marx Brothers movies or things that would just make him laugh. And he did it in the hospital. You'll see it in the movie. And so lots of other people were like kind of hanging out around his room so they could see it too, but the hospital didn't like that.
Oh, too bad.
I know.
Yeah. That's awesome. So our home play for Gemini at the throat chakra, and of course this is in addition to the home play we offered through the other video, is to do this very simple exercise. And so as part of reclaiming our personal story and speaking it at the throat chakra gate, something very simple to do is we can create a really simple song to let go of the old story and claim the new story. So you might consider where you felt stuck, had a difficulty with authentic expression, and where you've been a rosebud afraid to bloom maybe. So then fill in the blanks of your song as follows. So you begin with the expression, I was, and then you say, I am. And so my example is just one is, I was dimmed, I was diminished, I was full of self-doubt. And then to think of what is the opposite of that. And even just writing the words helps, and you can sing it if you want. I can't read this for some reason, Kaylin, I don't know why. Oh wait, let me try this. I'm gonna turn off the chat. Ooh. Hmm. Not sure why. It's funny that I can't read it.
So yours, oh, I'm radiance, I'm strength, I'm clear, I'm purposeful.
I am strength, I am clear and purposeful. So those are mine. What would yours be? It's very simple practice. And do it. Oh, it reminds Deborah of the song about laughing from Mary Poppins. Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so yeah, so that's really simple one. You know, if you're having, it's just a really simple exercise to get a little chant going. So with that, I think we are ready for Claudette. So Claudette, let me give you the capacity to be a host, because I think we're going to need to do that in order for you to share your audio. I'll just need you to make me a host when you're done again. So here you are. You have all the power, Claudette.
Right?
Use it well.
Right.
For good, not ill.
All right, here I am. You can hear me, I imagine.
Yeah, there you are.
Yay.
Okay, so I have a question before I begin. I wanted to share some music. Do I just play it here in
So
my
what you're going to
space?
do
Or
is you're going to go down to your microphone in the left-hand corner, lower left-hand corner.
Yeah.
Click on the little up arrow, and it should say share sound.
Actually, I think what you can do, what might be easier is look where it says share screen, Claudette. When you click on
Yes.
share screen, it'll give you the option to do share audio. You see that?
Under advanced sharing, probably
Just share
multiple.
screen, yeah.
It's, yeah, I don't see that.
When you click
It
on share
doesn't say
screen.
anything about audio. And what would happen if I were to share it in the room where, oh, audio settings, maybe it's under audio.
What happens when you click share screen?
Share multiple participants can share simultaneously. Advanced sharing options.
If you look at the bottom where it says, it should say share video.
Advanced.
Or
it doesn't have that as an option. It honestly doesn't. But what happens if I just share it in my room space? Is that going to be awkward? Is that going to create feedback distortion?
Well, we can try muting, but it might not be as clear as
That's
ideally.
okay.
Yeah.
We'll work with what we've got. We can both mute, me and Kaylin, to help with that.
Okay, well, yeah, so should I just, yeah. Should I go ahead and create it in this space, or should I just share it online? Does it matter?
Well, so if you can't share your computer audio, then you're going to probably just need to share it externally somehow.
Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, I can do either one. Okay, so let's just begin, because so it's interesting listening to all the joyful, happy Gemini, Venus. Sorry, now I'm using everything here. There we are. Perfect. Because the music I chose for us is a little solemn. It's not very happy, joyful, but I was thinking it's very grounding, very centering, which might be good for the Saturn-Mars square energy to help bring us back to center. And if you have your app, it would be good to use that just so that you have feedback to see if you're hitting the right note or not. So you can get that out, hold it in front of you or nearby. And I'm not feeling into the pitch pipe. So if you want to tune your pitch pipe to G and just blow gently on the G so you can hear that, which is the note for the throat chakra. you can do that. Feel free to do that. I'm not feeling it. Sometimes I don't feel it. And so there's no right or wrong way. So you, whatever you're feeling, the app is an app that's on the class page for to tone, so that you know if you're hitting the right tone or not. Most of us don't know what note we're hitting if we make a sound. Don't worry if you don't have it. It's okay. You can get it and work with it later. So the throat chakra note is tone is G. And there's different ways of working with this. You can just sit and tone the G with just feeling the resonance vibration, which is always a good thing to do regardless. In addition to, you can intend to release. I know you hadn't spoken about releasing things, but I think probably at some point, I'm sure that that's in the literature, what you're releasing. Yes, of course you did. I stepped out to get some water during that point. So you can intend to release any stagnant, discordant energies around the throat. You don't have to name them. You can also name them. You can also just have an intention to come into harmony and vibration within that chakra. Whatever is rising in your heart is the best thing to work with. And if there's nothing there, that's the best thing to work with. So it's again, we can't do this wrong. So what we're going to do is we're going to chant along, and I chose a song that's a little chant for us to chant with, and it's primarily in G, and there's a little bit of C in there, but it's primarily in G, which is why I chose it. And it's only about 4 minutes long, so we're going to, you want to come and sit upright with your spine nice and long. The chant is Om, I, and again, if you'll hear, mostly we're going to be doing I, which is the vowel sound for the throat. So just coming to sit upright, with your spine long, and just take a few breaths, inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. Find your center within yourself. So just calling yourself back to this moment, away from any distractions outside of yourself, coming back to the breath, which is always in the now moment. And you can have your app in front of you. If you have that, that's great. And just taking a deep inhale and really exhaling. So our inhalation is primarily based on our exhalation. Closing the eyes. Inhaling deeply and exhaling. Closing your eyes. Deep inhale. And on the next exhale, we'll chant I in the tone of G. Om. Inhaling for I. Into the field of creation and the power of the ability to create through thought, through sound, intention, awareness. And just allowing yourself to bathe in the vibration and in the sound. And so when you practice this, you just at the end really anchoring the vibration through every cell in your being. Allowing yourself to come back and feel that was a little rushed for me and a little. The beautiful thing is that when you do this on your own, you take your time. It's good to do it for at least 10 minutes to anchor the frequency and to stabilize it. And then set your intention that throughout your day, that you return to this. This is always available to you. Once you anchor it, you can return to it as often as you remember throughout your day. And I'm trying to figure out, how do I give permission to Tammy and Kaylee?
Oh, haha.
Do you have it already? You already have permission, right?
Well, look up at participants and then click on that, and then you'll see my name, and then you can make me host. You see that?
And while you're figuring that out, Claudette, because you'll have to click on the more button, but while you're figuring that out, I just want to ask if you can send a link to the chant, because it was really hard to hear because you weren't playing it through your computer. And
because your connection was really kind of weak.
And your internet connection was weak. So, so if we could post,
Sorry.
I'm happy to post that for people so they can go back and listen to it. And, you know, hopefully, and if you can just maybe write up a few little directions for people that if they want to do that. And
absolutely. And yeah, and I'll just say it's Jane Winters, and it is her track of grace. And then she also has Om Mani Padme Om, which is the mantra for the throat chakra. And there is one that she does that is primarily in the tone of G, which is really beautiful to chant along with. So you can also chant Om Mani Padme Om with your app in G. Very powerful to do.
I just want
So,
to say,
yes, I'll do.
I've been doing some chanting for quite a few months now, and I love it so much. And with the app, because
Mm.
I have no idea, I am somewhat tone deaf, so I have no idea what the sound is. But if I have the app, then I totally do, and I love the feeling of when I get the same, when I know I'm on right, because it vibrates with the app, and it just feels so amazing. So I just want to encourage everybody at
Yes.
Throat Chakra especially to get the app, tone, and hopefully we can put the a link up to the music.
Well, and I just want to add to that, Claudette, thank you so much. And recognizing, of course, with Mars just stationing retrograde, if nothing went, oddly, we would be surprised. But also that you doing this, even with the sound issues and all that, and Kaylin, you sharing in the chat, if everybody's seen that in the chat, I think it's really easy in a course like this with so much material to miss things. And we sent an email out about this with the pitch pipe and all that, but really easy to miss. So I think us going through this right now, hopefully will give everybody inspired to look at that link. It's incredible what Claudette's put together for us. Doing it on your own time, like she said, for like 10 minutes a day or something could be amazing. So thank you, Claudette, for helping make this real for us as a powerful practice that you embody and you do so often and so well.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I just want to quickly say, for some of us, certain tones are really, really challenging and very difficult to create with our voice. So if that's the case for you with any of these, that's okay. That's normal. So don't be alarmed if you're like really like, how do I get G to come out? Stay with it and play G on your guitar, listen to G music that's in G, and just use it on your pitch pipe and just keep vibrating with the frequency. You'll start to feel it and then you'll be able to create it. And that's where the magic and the power comes that Kaylin was talking about. So it's okay if you're not there.
Thank you, Claudette.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You're welcome.
So we have,
you.
Kaylin, I'm wondering if this is a good time now for us to connect with Siskiyou and then open it to Q&A for everyone.
Yeah, sure.
If you're up for that, Siskiyou, to begin to open the Q&A with a little sharing about what's been going on in your world.
Yeah, sure. So can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's been quite a journey here the last few days, and I'm in Southern Oregon, and I live in the Applegate Valley, and so I'm west of the Medford Ashland area, which is a main population center for this part of the state. So there was a fire that started, I guess it was Monday now morning, or maybe it was I guess it was Tuesday. And so we have a greenway, a bike path and a greenway between the cities, and it just rapidly spread from Ashland, the edge of Ashland, so most of Ashland was okay, through the community of Talent, where a lot of my friends live, and there's a theater there and everything. The theater's still standing. Most of the main street of town is gone on one side of the road. Then it went through Phoenix, another small community, lots of losses there. And then into Medford, and Medford's like 80,000 people, and they all had to evacuate. So it's just been really intense, like feeling the energy of loss and grief and chaos. And so I just had shared with Caitlin that, just to remember us here. And out here in the Applegate, we have another big fire to the south and west of us that's going into the next valley toward the coast. And it's 105,000 acres, and there's 100 people on the fire. So there's just not people to fight the fires, and it's going into a community that I lived in like 30 years ago. So I built a house over there, and it's probably, like in harm's way. So a cabin, my hippie cabin. So I'm just like feeling really emotional. And I'm glad for this group, and I'm just glad to be able to say a couple words about the situation here. So thank you.
Thank you so much, James. Yeah, sending you so much love and for your community and for the people. And also Eric, is that not right, Kaylin, that Eric, the the managing director of the Shamanic Astrology Mystery School has been evacuated as part of that.
Yep. Yeah. And I know some other people as well. So, so prayers for, you know, for anybody in our community and for the people that are connected to the people in our community. If anybody feels inspired to do that, we highly recommend it. So
beautiful. And really honoring, you know, what Deborah is saying, sending deep prayers to the elementals in the whole area. You know, my sister Tracy, who will be listening later, she just did a very interesting interview with a Marakame, a Huichol or Wirarika indigenous healer and a grandfather that she works with quite a bit. And the interview was about their response to COVID. And one of the things he was saying is that, you know, they have a word in their language for the people who can work with the weather beings. And we all have that in our lineage. And so anyone who has had that experience in their lives, or, I mean, I really feel this kind of thing is opening for all of us, you know, that we can connect to those weather beings, that we collectively can begin to hone and develop those skills of how to work with those energies. Remember what our ancestors knew, to be able to bring healing to the weather, to the land. We don't have control over everything. There's a lot that's outside of our control, but we can, in a humble way and in also an empowered way, stand with healing for these beautiful lands, for this earth that we love so much.
you know, yeah, I just love that you said that, because I know that there's been times I've asked for the thunder beings and the rain to come, and it has.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't necessarily attached to whether it did or didn't, but it has come. And it reminds me when I was a child and my father used to tell me to quit messing with the weather, because I always got what I wanted weather-wise, and it wasn't always what he wanted.
Awesome. Yeah.
So we have probably more power in that regard than we maybe even are aware of.
Absolutely. We've been trained to think that we need to disempower ourselves in those ways, but it's in our bones, and it's really time for us, when we come from a good place, to use those kinds of powers that we have.
Yeah. So sing to them.
Yeah,
At the throat chakra.
Yes, right.
Invite them to come.
That's right.
And bless us with their blessings. Yes.
Yeah. And also acknowledge, you know, so many of us know that with all the fire, you know, you can see it. Venus just moved into Leo. We've got Mars and Aries retrograde. And many of us also acknowledge and recognize that these fires have to do with unexpressed grief as much as anything else, unexpressed sorrow and grief. And, you know, Kaylin you talk about that in some ways. And so if you feel the tears come, if you feel this grief and sadness, you know, be with that also. Gemini, again, it's about full expression. We don't want to diminish it to just be about play and fun and one vibration. It's not that. It's all the things. The rainbow comes after the storms. The rainbow comes from having that deep expression of feeling and emotion. So that's also part of it.
Beautiful. So now do we want to open it up for Q&A?
Absolutely.
So if you want, you can unmute yourself, right? They can unmute themselves. And if you have something to say, or you can raise your hand. And so if you're raising your hand, I will see it, or Tammy will see it, and we can get you on. Or you can just unmute yourself.
You can unmute yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
I am called to share a poem. It's a poem and a song. I almost forgot it. Well, I'm Sonia. I'm from Spain, but I am in the south of France, in Provence now. It just came just before the class, and it was a poem that I wrote it like the day after the gate or the third eye. So it was on Sunday, 16th of August, and I just woke up, and these times that you just write without knowing what you are writing, and I just opened my journal, and I just wrote it, and it happened that I wrote it in a page that it's a photo of a seed star. I will show you here. This is a seed star.
Beautiful.
It's interesting, and the poem is called A Song of Liberation, and it says, we are weaving together a song of liberation, a song of liberation of the mind, a song of liberation of the heart, a song of liberation of the body, a song of liberation of the soul, a song of liberation a rainbow zone.
Beautiful. Hey, and if you haven't posted that in the Facebook page yet, or send it to me and I will send it in the email when we send out the link to this class.
I will. Yeah. I think it's for the collective. It just came through.
Beautiful, Sonia. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Anybody else? We got a few more minutes, so if you have anything you'd like to share or ask or whatever, we'd love to hear from you.
I forgot a question. I have a question too.
Yes, okay.
If I can. It's I was thinking, is it important the house that when the conjunction between the moon and Venus is an opening its gate, is it important the house that in which falls in the transitioning in our natal chart? Is that meaningful, do you think?
Yes, you can definitely apply meaning to that. It's not necessary to do that, but it can be fun to do that. And I do know that when I've looked at people's Venus returns, I will look at what the sign and the degree is of the gates and see how that applies to their personal chart as well. So you can do that too, and if you don't have anything in that place, you could look at the house and just add that interpretation to how it is for you personally. It's not going to be that way for everybody, but just whoever has something going on in a specific way personally.
It is nice, using the houses that way. What's good about it, like Kaylin's saying, is it makes it more personal sometimes.
Okay, and I'm going to, let's see. So Leslie has her hand up. If I can figure out why won't it let me ask
Oh, you can hear me now?
yes. Yay.
Okay. I just wanted to ask about I saw one of the emails, so I'm reading it from my phone. You had mentioned something about starting an ancestral racial healing and beyond circle. Has any progress been made with that? I haven't seen anything.
So glad you asked that question. Tammy's going to answer it.
Thank you so much, Leslie, for asking that question. I really appreciate it. Leslie, it was a little hard to hear, so she was asking about something we brought up at the very last class, which was the proposal for us to offer a workshop that was primarily for white people or people of European ancestry to help us to work together on the matter of racial injustice and also healing our ancestry. And so just so you know, Kaylin and I have been having some really good soul-to-soul conversations about this. We've gotten emails from a couple of you about it. And we wanted to really give it some deep thought because there's a lot that's come up with it. And we're definitely, you're going to be getting an email with more of our thoughts about the whole topic and how we might support all of us who are interested in engaging this more deeply to be in a conversation and to approach these really essential issues.
And we wouldn't limit it to white people.
Right, we decided to really let it be open for anyone, even though, there's a word that I've been seeing lately around this, which is kind of caucusing, that it's not an unusual idea in our time to have different groups of different, races, different, groups to meet so that there can be some deep work done based on shared experience. So, but yeah, it is going to be open to everyone, and the email will share more details about all of that. So do look for that, and we will be following up because it feels important.
Okay, so if I have some perspective because of experiences I've had, I could email you with those, yes?
Sure, and anyone else who has feedback they want to give, please do email us, and that will be great to have that. And no, again, this is something we want to offer. It's going to be optional because we know that this is a really essential part of the global conversation happening right now. And of course, we will want to offer whatever we offer in a way that is deeply supportive to everyone and safe, a safe container.
Yeah, so again, thank you for asking that question. And I'm wondering if there's anybody else who has a question or something they want to share. Emma, I see, it looks like you're unmuted. Do you want to say something? Deborah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about when that occultation is. I've never.
It's already happened. It already happened.
It happened already.
Yeah.
I've never seen one before.
So. Oh, they're so great. I hope you get to see one someday. I hope everyone does because they're amazing.
I hope so. Thank you.
Wow.
What was the one that passed?
It was the moon occultation over Mars. And, you know, every now and then there'll be moon occultations over stars or moon occultations over planets. And we try to give you that information for, you know, if they're happening during a gate that we're in. So stay tuned because we might have another one. And there might be one over Venus. Sometimes that happens. Yeah, or over a star. We can share that too.
And you can actually see it.
Well, you have to be in the right place. So depending on what time it's happening, so the star or the planet and the moon have to be in the sky where you can see it, and also you have to be in the right line of sight because sometimes you can see it, but you know, like for example, there was a total solar eclipse back in 2017, and there was a band where you could see it, even though the sun was in the sky and the moon was whatever, and so on parts of the U.S. you could see it 80%, and parts of it you can see it 100%. So, so it's kind of the same thing with an occultation, because occultation is similar to an eclipse in that way.
Okay, because I saw Mars right next to the moon. Yeah, so it must have been around.
So you are in your line of sight. You probably didn't see the occultation. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
See Mars.
Emma.
Right with the moon. Yeah, and the moon was there. Is that big?
Oh, wait, Emma, we can't really hear you. I think you might need to get a little closer to your mic.
Okay, is that better?
A little closer, maybe.
Turn up your sound, perhaps?
Let me bring up my sound. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, is that better?
No.
A little better. Still pretty quiet.
No. Okay, I'm having problems. I need to get in. I'll email you the question.
Oh, or you can
say it. We'll see if we can hear it.
You can.
Yeah, just go ahead.
When I was using it, I was trying to chant, and right now I'm having a lot of throat problems, which is apropos for the time. But I used my tuning fork, my G, and I listened through my left ear, and I heard a pure tone. I listened with the right ear and heard the tone, but also the overtone. And I thought that was very interesting, the difference in the sound between the two ears. So,
You want to repeat what you said, Tammy?
Okay, so when she was doing the toning, that she heard an, Emma, tell me if this is right, you heard an overtone. You were using your pitch, your tuning fork.
Tuning fork.
Tuning fork, yeah. And so, but there was an overtone that you were also another tone that you could hear in addition to the G that you were toning. Is that right?
correct, yes.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
I didn't think of listening with either or ear, because normally when I do an overtone, it's bringing the two tuning forks, the C and G together, and I can hear the variances in that overtone.
Oh, wait a second. I'm sorry. I have got to plug in my computer. Wow. Emma, it's really hard to hear. I'm so sorry. I don't know that we're going to be able to get the nuances of all that.
Oh, that's
So
okay.
maybe do share with us in an email.
Or on Facebook. And also, I know, Emma, you have used tuning forks in the biosonics and so on, so maybe you can also share that as well so people can have access to that information too.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Emma. So good to see you. We've missed you. Yeah, please share in Facebook.
Yeah.
And maybe even a video if you're feeling really brave.
I don't know right now.
Well, yeah, if you've got voice issues. Sending lots of love and healing for your throat.
Yes.
Yeah, but I've been having sound issues with the computer for some reason or another. No matter where I bring the sound, my computer microphone doesn't seem to be working that well. So that creates a problem.
It's the throat chakra too, you know. I mean, seriously, we've got these issues now where it's really hard to hear. It's kind of what happens. We had to re-record our video. You know, this is comes with the territory.
Yeah.
I wanted to say I was just really, really pleased and surprised when I watched that preliminary throat chakra video, and you had brought in the 4 agreements in that, and I thought, oh, that's really good because it's so appropriate for the throat. Isn't
it? Yeah.
The 4 agreements. You basically talked about 3. So I really like that. And this is a wonderful thing. Oh, you had somebody by the name of Zia join us in our breakout room. Tammy, and I'd like to keep a contact with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Connect with her and see Zia. Are you on Face? Well, we'll connect around it after the class. That sounds great.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Emma. All right. Well, I think we're getting to time.
I think we are at time. Yes. So maybe we can unmute everybody to say bye. And hope we all have a great throat chakra month, and we'll be sending the video posted. So, bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Blessings.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.